everyone, Michael here. Welcome to our new series on the Cisco CCNA Preps. For this session, we're going to discuss on how to configure your DHCP on a router. So the content for this particular lecture will be the following. What is DHCP and how to configure DHCP service on a router. Basically, DHCP or Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol is the network service that is used to dynamically assign an IP address. So when your computer connects to a network, it reaches out to a particular DHCP server if available, and that DHCP server or service would actually allocate you dynamically an IP address. So if a computer connects to a network and if there is a DHCP server available, that particular DHCP server will allocate the IP address, the subnet mask, the gateway, and the DNS server for that newly connected host. On a high level, the operation of a DHCP server follows the famous acronym called DORA. So D is for discover, O for offer, R for request, and then A for acknowledge. The discover happens when a client tries to ping or discover if there is a presence of a DHCP server. Once that discover message reaches an available DHCP server, that DHCP server will offer IP address, subnet mask, gateway, or DNS to the client. The client now will request those IP address details, and then from there the server will acknowledge that request, and from there your host or your computer will have its own IP address configuration. So for our demonstration for today, we will have a router and a host that will learn dynamically its IP address through the DHCP server. On the screen here, you can see the configurations that we will do for the router. Also, on the screen as well, you will see two verification commands, two show commands to ensure and confirm that our DHCP is actually working. So let's jump in now to our lab. So we have here a very simple network. We have a router and a newly connected host that has no DHCP configured yet. Checking in at the PC, you can see that the IP address has been initially configured as static. What we want to do is to enable DHCP. Upon pressing that button, the DORA process is now happening. However, DHCP failed because, again, we don't have a DHCP configured yet. What we're doing here is we are looking at the initial configuration of our .router, checking in the IP address of our gateway on the fast Ethernet 00. Now we know that this IP address is 192.168.1.1. What we're going to do is to create a name for our DHCP pool using the command IP DHCP pool and the name of your network pool. As you can see here as well, it will go to the DHCP configuration mode, and we will define our network. For our sake, the network will be 192.168.1.0/24, and also we will configure the default router, which is 192.168.1.1, which is the IP address of that same interface. Also, we will configure the DNS server as well with the same IP address. Checking in again with our host, that we'll check it again using DHCP. The DORA process is happening, and now we have successfully allocated an IP address using our DHCP server. On an enterprise, you would want to reserve certain IP address. We can do this on our DHCP router using the command IP DHCP excluded address. We can also do some verification command. What we can see here is the very important command of show IP DHCP binding. Basically, it tells the relationship between the dynamically allocated IP address to the specific host where it is allocated. As you can see here, PC0 is actually 192.168.1.2 as shown in our DHCP binding. Another command that you can use is show IP DHCP and pool, which is a command that will give you all the necessary information for your DHCP pool. You can see here the subnet that has been used, the current index of the IP and the IP address, how many IP address has been leased, how many has been excluded, and the total number of the IP address still available on the network. To wrap up our discussion, we've discussed DHCP and how to configure that on a router. We defined what is DHCP and the basic operation of DORA. I've shown you several commands that we can use to configure your DHCP router and some verification command. That's the end of our lecture for today. Hopefully you gain an understanding of a DHCP server. Bye for now.